We are recording this session to make it available for all of those who have registered for this meeting but are unable to attend. So once again, a warm welcome to everyone, and thank you for joining in on the inaugural mentorship program meeting. So this is the first meeting that we will be having as the official mentorship program for the Early Career Specialist Group of the World Commission on Environmental Law. So before we begin, I'd like to ask that everyone mute themselves just while someone is speaking. And when we have our open question and answer session, please feel free to unmute yourself and we can have open discussions throughout the meeting that we're having today. So as you would note, we are having a meeting format and not a webinar. That's because we want to see your faces, we want to engage with you, we want to have open discussions with you. So at any point during today's meeting, if you want to jump in and also give a comment or ask a question, please feel free to do so. You can either do that by raising your hand or unmuting yourself directly, and we can have a discussion with you. Before we begin, I would like to make a disclaimer that any and all views expressed by speakers today, whether it's speakers in their formal capacity or attendees, are in no way connected to their affiliated institutions. So all views expressed are of the speakers themselves and are their personal opinions made in their personal capacities. So now that we've done all the formalities for today, I'd now like to start by looking at this quote that I have found, and this kind of brought me into the whole idea of the mentorship program. So with careful guidance and mentorship, you will reach your highest self. I thought this was a really great summation of what mentorship should be. And I really enjoyed this quote because it was a clear indication that mentorship is not just a one-way ideology. Mentorship is really something that involves guidance and reaching the highest form of oneself. So to start off, let's look at our agenda for today. We are splitting our meeting for today into 3 parts. The first part will be just a brief explanation of the mentorship program, what we do, what mentoring is, what we envision from the program, and also how to facilitate your mentoring dynamic. The second third of our program today will be a speaker discussion with Mr. Damsal Kinde, who we welcome today as our distinguished speaker. Mr. Damsal Kinde is Associate Legal Officer with the United Nations Environmental Program, and he will be speaking in his personal capacity on his experiences being in mentoring and as an early career professional, his journey through environmental law and where he is today. So to move on, firstly, what is the mentorship program? So we're all here today because we know a little bit about the mentorship program and are involved in the mentorship program in some way, shape, or form. The program was envisioned by the Early Career Specialist Group of the World Commission of Environmental Law to bring together senior and junior professionals in a capacity for them to share, learn, and grow from one another. That being said, the program is a uniquely paired mentorship opportunity. And what do we mean by uniquely paired? So each of you has filled in a Google form. In that form, you gave us a lot of information about yourself and what you envisioned of your mentorship dynamic and your mentorship pairing. We took this form, we sat down with it as a team, and we looked through this form with an iron tooth comb, with a magnifying glass, and we tried our best to ensure that those that you are paired with are fitting your needs and your expectations from the mentorship program, but also in the way that you could be there in support for one another. The next thing I'd like to do is introduce you all to my team. So it's not just me running the mentorship program, it's me followed by a really stellar team of people that have provided me with support along the way. So I ask everyone who is part of the mentorship program team, please raise your hand using the raise your hand function, and maybe turn on your cameras if you can, so that people can see who you are, so they know who's involved in the mentorship program project team. So I raise my hand too. So it's great to see everyone, and it's great to see you all, and it's great to have you all here with us. So we as the team have come together and we've tried our best to facilitate this mentorship program in a way that provides everyone with the best possible outcomes. And that means that we are facilitating pairings not only for the benefit of the mentor and the mentee, but also to ensure a long-lasting development and a long-lasting growth in both your early career and senior career journeys. And so I mentioned a little bit about the selection process. So what we did was look at all of the information that you've given us in the Google Forms that you completed, and we took that information and we sat down and individually paired each mentor with a mentee. And that meant we had to look at each of the mentees that we were given and look through all of the list of mentors for each of the mentees that we had and find the best possible solution for you. And so we hope that each and every one of you that have been paired are really happy with your pairings. And if you're not, we understand. And we hope that you'll reach out to us so that we can find the best solution for everyone. And ultimately, we get the question, why join the mentorship program? You know, why did we find that this program was so necessary? For me, I can speak from my personal experience. I really had a lot of faith in this mentorship program because I've seen firsthand what the possibilities of mentoring can do. Having someone there as a mentor to lead you, to guide you, to be there with you as you take the next steps in your career really makes the difference between you being lost in the dark in your career journey and knowing which way that you could possibly go. And mentoring has taken many different forms for me personally. And so I found that joining such a program and leading such a program was really important, not only for myself in my career development, but also to ensure that everyone along the way can develop their careers using the expertise of senior professionals, but also where senior professionals can learn from junior professionals along the way. We also have a mentorship guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the mentorship guide in the chat so that everybody can download it. So yeah, I placed the mentorship guide 2024 in the chat. This is a guide that we came up with as a team. The mentorship guide, unfortunately, at the moment is only available in English. However, we are reaching out to other people within our team to create other translations of the mentorship guide at a later stage. The mentorship guide is there for you to look back on, to see what this mentorship program is about, what mentoring looks like, and how to facilitate your own mentorship relationship. So what is mentoring? We hear this word so often, and it takes many different shapes for many different people and in many different dynamics. Traditionally, mentoring was seen as a top-down approach, where there was a more of a teacher-student dynamic, where the senior would teach and guide the junior, and that was the original dynamic for mentoring. What we've seen now, moving forward, is that mentoring is a mutually beneficial dynamic. It is not only for the benefit of the mentee, but also an opportunity for the mentor to have what we call reverse mentoring. So now the concept of reverse mentoring has especially grown in the 21st century with the use of new technologies, with the use of new learning methods, with the use of new ideals from younger generations to older generations. And we've seen this in many ways and shapes, and we've had the privilege of facilitating such a dynamic within the mentorship program. So we have different types of mentoring as well. And when we talk about the types of mentoring, we've heard of formal versus informal. These were one of the questions that we had in the Google Forms. Now, when we speak about formal mentoring, what we had envisioned as formal would have been to set specific dates in your calendar, to discuss with your mentor, stating what your key goals were, what the established ideals of your relationship with the mentoring relationship would be, what your ground rules were. So it is a very formal dynamic. And this often works in the case of a lot of professionals who don't have as much free time necessarily and would like to allocate structured days in the month or structured mentoring and meeting sessions in which they meet with the mentor and the mentee and share more formally in the development of their careers. We also have an informal mentoring dynamic, which is more spontaneous in nature. So we see these as being the opportunities where we share messages or emails to say, hi, are you available to chat next week? I would really need some assistance in this area. And it's more of an informal, spontaneous setting for a mentoring relationship. From there, we also have peer mentoring, and this is where it's not necessarily a senior professional paired with a junior professional, but rather people at the same level in their career development, maybe asking for insight, some advice, some sharing of stories and perspectives in different areas, and an opportunity for you to engage a little bit more with your peers. We also have group mentoring dynamics. So some of our mentors are paired with multiple mentees and can opt to have a group mentoring session. What this would mean is the mentor would invite all of their mentees into one session where they can sit together and have an open discussion about various elements of the mentoring dynamic, or to engage with each other as the mentoring relationship progresses. And lastly, we have one-on-one mentoring, which is usually the case in a formal mentoring dynamic where the mentor and the mentee engage personally on a one-on-one basis. So now we move on to what mentoring involves. Now, mentoring is a relationship built on trust and openness. The information that is shared between mentor and mentee has to be respected, and it has to be kept confidential. Most of the information that is shared in a mentor-mentee relationship is done so under the premise that this information will be treated with care, and that there is an understanding that this information would be kept between the mentors and the mentees. That being said, mentoring is built on effective communication and listening skills, availability and commitment, meaning you as the mentor and the mentee have devoted some time to engage in the relationship, which can only become successful and progress if you commit to the time that you make available. You are building a partnership. You are walking down this road together, and you are articulating your needs, what you're looking for in this mentoring dynamic that you have. There is obviously mutual respect for one another, acknowledging the differences that each of you experience, your different backgrounds, maybe your different cultural perspectives, and these have to be respected in any mentoring relationship. There is motivation and planning. Mentoring only works if you are motivated to plan the goals that you seek guidance on. There must be a sense of self-awareness in understanding your needs and in the articulation of your needs. And lastly, a willingness to learn and grow with your mentor. There are multiple stages in the mentoring process. Firstly, we start by building the relationship. So we are all in the initial stages of that mentoring relationship. The introductory phase, getting to know each other, getting to be a little bit more comfortable with each other, and figuring out which dynamic works best for you two, or you as a group. Secondly, exchanging information and setting goals. So what do we want from this? Why are we in this mentoring dynamic? What can I as a mentor offer you, and what can I as a mentee offer you as the mentor? Thirdly, working towards goals or deepening the engagement. What is the long-term goals if we're planning long-term mentoring, or is this more of a short-term, over 1 year, we have a mentoring relationship and see where it goes from there? And lastly, ending the formal mentoring relationship and planning for the future. This last stage may not apply to everyone. Some people do enjoy having a longer-term mentoring dynamic in which they engage with a mentor over different stages of their lives. Other people choose to have shorter mentoring timeframes, and so this would require a formal ending of that mentoring relationship. So what can you gain from a mentoring experience? Yeah, so this is a question open to all of you. We each have a very different understanding of what we hope to gain from a mentoring experience. Maybe we're looking for a guide in our career. Maybe we're just looking for someone to share an experience and give advice. So what you gain from your mentoring experience is up to you. So I'd like to open the first question to the floor, to those of you in attendance. I want to hear a little bit more from you guys. What do you hope to gain from a mentoring experience? Yes, I see Professor Antonetta Elia. Hi, over to you.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Hi, welcome.
So, thank you very much, Larissa, to convene that meeting. Welcome from Spain. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending where I'm from, everyone. So I just want to thank you to have me as a mentor in the group. And to me, actually, is not a new experience. I don't choose to call me a mentor, but just I think it's a natural function of a senior scholar. And I appreciate your presentation about what the program is, but I think that actually I consider myself just the first student among my students. So in my case, I never had someone guiding me over the career, the content, the work. So that's why I'm so engaged in to do exactly the opposite. So I remember when I was a young scholar, repeatedly saying, once I had the opportunity, I try to do my best to let no one behind. So, and be positive. It is not an easy process, an easy way, but if you are in good company, I always think that young people feel more confident that if I can do something, I used to repeat, if I can do something, everyone can do. So I'm really happy to be engaged. I have just a question. Because I received an email from you, and I think I have two young scholars assigned. So if someone else would like to join,
Yes.
how it works? They can ask directly to me, or they must ask to you or the organizing committee members of the program. So there is a limit, there is a rule of assignment for each mentor, because to me, there is no problem to have a group or, well, working as a group and individually. Because to me, the mentorship must be carried out in double sense, as a group and individually. They are not mutual. They are not. They are concurrent in my view. So this is just the question I have, because I saw that I have two. I didn't start yet because I have been waiting for that meeting before. But if, for example, today there is someone else who is following the meeting and decide that, okay, I like that, I like her, and she or he decided to be involved in my group, welcome. What they can do, they ask to you or they contact me directly. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is that the mentorship program is open to anyone in the early career specialist group. So everyone in this meeting is already involved in that group, which makes things a little bit easier. If anyone would like to join, for example, your mentoring group, they're more than welcome to. We only ask that if they email you to contact you, that they CC us in that email, just so that we can keep track of who is involved in which mentorship groups, just so that we know what is generally happening. They don't have to get any permission from us. We really encourage everyone to reach out and to engage with as many mentors as they see needed, and to engage in as many mentoring groups as they would like to be a part of.
So sorry to interrupt you. For
No
example,
problem.
if I publish an announcement on my social network profile, asking to who is interested to join us, I can do it and they can join us?
That is a little bit more tricky, because with the early career specialist group, this mentorship program is first and foremost part of that group. So we would then ask for those people to join the early career specialist group, and then we can filter them into the mentorship program. However, if you wish in your personal capacity to have a mentorship group outside of the mentorship program, not really outside of the mentorship program.
I have many. This is just one more.
Exactly.
Perhaps the more formal, but sorry, I'm a little bit sick.
Nope.
I'm based in the north of Spain, and here we don't know climate change, actually. Yeah. It's really cold. I'm joking, of course. So to me, it can be strange, but to me, the pandemic accelerated my attitude to be engaged as much as I can with students all around the world. So in the last 4 years, grateful to international technologies and platforms, I had the chance to create a lot of groups, informal groups, international informal groups, also by direct contact. Just to give you an example, an LLM student from India who is working on investor state arbitration and climate change contacted me by LinkedIn to have an advice. So, but this is outside the program.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on her, if she is interested to join the program, maybe I can extend the invitation to join the program, for example.
Yeah, of course. So if anyone is thinking externally to join the program, you can share our contact details with them. So you can share our email address with them, and we can get them through the process for getting them to join the program.
Please do. I just sent in the chat. I just share my email contacts.
Fantastic.
So there is no problem to share that. Most important, I think that they are available online. Just to put me on Google.
Yes, fantastic.
You will find it. So
that's
to
no
me,
problem.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for offering to do this. And we really appreciate this as well. This provides a lot more opportunity for our mentees as well. So I will also send out another email. Maybe there's also some other mentors who have the same idea and who would also be willing to kind of open up their mentoring group a little bit further. So I will send an email to everyone, all of the mentors. And if you are also open to having a little bit more of a bigger mentoring group formally, or if you have someone who is not in the program who you would like to join the program, then you can respond to that email and let us know. Fantastic. So I'd like to open the question up one more time to everyone. What can you gain from a mentoring experience? So if anyone else has anything to add, please feel free to unmute yourself and we can get to chatting.
Hi, Larissa. I'll just have few this thing. I think for me, this mentoring experience would be more like to get the global perspective on the environmental concern, as we all belongs from different part and different culture, different places of the world. So I think to know every place's environmental concern, what they wish to pursue, and what exactly currently globally people are thinking for climate change or for conservation, protection of the environment, and all this thing. One thing is that, and second thing is the networking, which would be very beneficial to us in the future perspective. And as you see it in the very first slide, that previously it was like that there is one senior and then there was a junior, which a traditional perspective. Now it's both the way, and it's not only mentee who is going to learn, but it is always the mentors also would be learning with this. So yeah, I think it would be a global networking platform, and as well as it would be, I believe, to know, because the cultural perspective and everything is different of all of us. So yeah, I think that would be beneficial.
Thank you so much, Gia.
Sorry, Larissa, to grasp the microphone again.
Of course, please do.
Don't fear. I'm in that way. I'm really energetic, you know, even if I'm not so young. I'm young inside. So I just want to thank you, Dr. Gia Matarani, for her words. I fully subscribe what she said. And I would like to add that this is an opportunity also for mentor to create synergy, because
Absolutely.
One of the things I repeated constantly during those years of pandemic, and I still continuing to repeat, is that global challenges like environmental issues and climate change needed global solutions. But when I say the global solution, I don't mean that it must be the same for everyone, not at all, because not each country, not each population leave the impact in the same way. So that means that each one must give its contribution from their experience and try to create the best integrated solution with each part, you know, that's globally my idea. And that's why I'm so happy too to be in the program, because we are the United Nations, not states. So always people must be united. And we have the chance to be member of academia, and it's the first place where we can meet when a united brand or head to try to move the hands of politics, right?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for your inputs. Again, to anyone, if you feel that you want to comment or input at any time, please feel free to join in. We're here for an open meeting, and I really enjoy having all of the discussion and the inputs. So before we move on to the second third of our meeting for today, let's have just a brief discussion about how to facilitate your mentoring experience. So the mentoring experience is different for everyone. And having discussed with some of those involved in the mentoring program, there was often the question of how do we facilitate the initial contact and how do we facilitate the initial meeting? For those that have maybe not had a mentoring experience before and are unfamiliar with how to approach their mentors, or even for those that haven't had a mentee in the past. And from those that I've spoken to, there is a general consensus on 4 distinct steps or 4 distinct parts of the mentoring experience, which is, you know, tell me about yourself, where you can share in your experiences with one another and see your common ground or where it is exactly in each of your careers that you are. Your previous mentoring experience, so maybe building on what you have already established, if you have an already established mentoring experience, and you can build from this, what your mentoring dynamic will be. So what is it for you? Each mentoring experience is different, each of it is unique, and allowing yourselves the freedom and the flexibility to build that mentoring dynamic based on your needs is what really makes it special. So don't think of the mentoring experience that you've heard of others, but rather take the opportunity to see what it is for you as a mentor and as a mentee. And lastly, learning from one another. So we've heard from many of the accounts here today that mentoring is mutually beneficial. It's not what we have traditionally been told and what we've traditionally seen as a top-down approach, but is something that is a convergence of minds, a convergence of ideas, a convergence of understanding, which is really taking mentoring to the next level. And so that brings me to the end of the first third of our meeting today, a little bit about the mentorship program and a little bit about what mentoring is. Like I said throughout this presentation, mentoring is really a unique opportunity for everyone. The points that I've said today are really merely just suggestions, recommendations, what I've heard from other colleagues. And maybe your mentoring dynamic looks completely different to what I've said today. And that's the beauty of it. You can build it as you sail the ship, so to say. So you build it as you keep going through your dynamic. So we now move on to the second third of our meeting, which is the mentoring experience and early career journeys. So I'd like to welcome our guest speaker for today, which is Mr. Damsal Kinde. He is Associate Legal Officer with the United Nations Environmental Program. And even though this is his position with the United Nations, I've said so earlier, any views expressed by speakers here today are really of their own personal views and are not in any way connected to their affiliated institutes. The meeting that we're having today is an opportunity for everyone to share their personal opinions and to speak personally as themselves within the meetings that we're sharing today. So, Mr. Kinde, Damsal, it's great to have you. I welcome you, and it's really a privilege to have you as one of our first speakers for the mentorship program, but also for the early career talks. So just to give everyone a brief background, the early career talks are a part of the mentorship program. It's where we approach you, our mentors, our mentees, maybe external speakers, to speak on mentoring experiences and early career development. So I've spoken a lot, I think. I'm going to hand over to Damsal. Damsal, how are you? How are things?
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you, Larissa, to welcome me to this webinar session. That for me is like a discussion. So let's consider like an interaction, this meeting, so you can share, some views or some experience, and then you can stop me anytime you wish, or maybe send your question to Larissa. But I'm happy that Larissa make me like an institution, so I become an office, not an officer. I can see that it's a social legal office. So now I'm an office, not an officer only. So you people can come and I'll hire you. Sorry, just a joke apart. So yeah, I'm doing well, and thanks for asking. And I hope you are also well, and as well as other people that are on this webinar. Thank you. Over to you, Larissa.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing so that we can maybe get to see each other a little bit more. So I'd like to ask everyone, if possible, if you feel comfortable, please can you turn your videos on so that we can say hi and wave through our screens to everyone on whatever side of the world you are at. Hello, hi. As those of you may have noticed, I am not a very shy person, so I like engagement. I like seeing faces and saying hi through the screen. This is a meeting. This is really as comfortable as we can get. This is just an opportunity for us to get to know each other in the program. Maybe to see if there are people that we meet here who we have connections with, who we can also foresee a mentoring dynamic with, who we could maybe even share in some of our own experiences. So the next half or the next third of this meeting, I'm going to just be asking Damsar as our guest speaker some questions. Yeah, just to find out a little bit more about him and his early career journey, about the mentoring experience that he has and what he foresees as a mentor himself, the advice that he can maybe give us, maybe some insights along the way. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you feel with what he is saying and you also have a personal experience that you want to share with us, please, please, please feel free to do so. So we really encourage you to stop us at any time and add your 2 cents. So I'm going to start off. Damsar, please tell us a little bit about your career journey. So I have had the honor and privilege of hearing about your journey, but everyone else deserves to hear the same. So please tell us what brings you here.
Okay. First of all, I'm happy to be here to learn and also to share a little bit my story, my little story also about where I come from and where I am now and where I'm planning to be in the future. So I possess like almost 30 years of experience in practice of law. So I have the privilege and also the opportunity to work with the international organization in multiple areas. So my experience is cross-cutting. It's not just like on environmental law. So you can see that I'm having experience like on legal affairs, sometimes in human rights, sometimes in political affairs, sometimes in diplomacy, and sometimes, I can also with the law firm. So I serve also in my country. I'm coming from Chad. But now I'm based in Nairobi, working with the United Nations Environment Program. I had that privilege also to work with the law firm in Chad and also with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for just a while, and then moved to private sector. You can imagine someone that is working today in the environmental program has worked in the petroleum company. So, that's a contradiction sometimes, or maybe the contracts that you may have in your experience sometimes, but you have to make a choice in the when you want to build your career or want to, So I joined also this United Nations program, I think last September, not last September, but September 2022. So it has been almost 1 year and a half that I'm here as a legal associate. Providing legal support like to the Green Climate Fund Coordination Unit on quality assurance checks on proposal and compliance with the and monitoring of legal instruments. So my main work is to negotiate, to review legal instruments that we may have with the donors. We may have also UNEP may have with the Green Climate Fund, and also with the national designated authorities like sometimes UNEP has a project or program to implement in developing countries. So we need to establish an agreement that can facilitate the implementation of the projects. So those projects that are sometimes adaptation programs or mitigation programs. But previously, I also worked with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Mauritania as a legal program specialist. So you can see move from one side to another one. So, but bear with me that working with the Office of Drugs and Crime doesn't mean that you cannot link environmental issues, because one of the main issues also is to check to check the the convention, and also to make sure that countries are really committed to their obligations in terms of protection of environment and also protection of the environment regarding animals, like wild animals, because sometimes people come and kill some elephants. So this kind of things we are doing within the United Nations on drugs and crime. But mainly I also support one of the programs that is a peace building project. The peace building project is about how to help young people in conflict with law to access to justice. So this program was a joint program with the International Labour Organization that is preventing violence, extremism through how to empower young people in conflict with law, and then also strengthen the access to justice. Then I contributed also to one of the SAHEL program. Maybe some of the people may know, because the SAHEL program is broader. It's cross-cutting from, from all the Sahel region, from Chad to Mauritania, Mauritania to Niger to Mali, So there is a lot of project across those countries, those Sahel regions, that is related to sometimes protection of the environment, like as I mentioned earlier, but also to human trafficking, and also drug and control of drugs and all those things. So I will not go to details, but just to give you a perspective of what we are doing on this SAHEL program. But also the main thing that we need to return on my experience is my first experience, thanks to this African Union experience that I had with the Office of the Legal Counsel. That was my first international experience within the international system. So during this experience, I was focusing on international integration, how to deal with the legal instruments of the African Unions, and how also to facilitate or to help member states on the ratification of treaties matter. So from Africa Union, I had that also privilege to work with the UNDP briefly for 6 months, United Nations Development Program, as an international consultant, junior specialist. So, but it's in connection with my experience with the African Union. So it's like some kind of promoting the Malabo Protocol. Those who know Malabo Protocol is about the establishment of the Court of Justice and Human Rights in Africa. But that program was really wonderful, because we try to draft some, some guidelines and some roadmap to help member states how to process the Malabo Protocol in terms of because since the signature of the Malabo Protocol, there is none of ratification till today. But we know that we are facing human rights issues all over the world. So, and environmental is part of human rights. So we need to bear in mind that sometimes our member states have to commit to their obligation through the treaty that they have signed. So that's our work that we have done through the African Union and also with the UNDP, but through the Office of the Legal Counsel. I had also the chance to work as a legal fellow with the Institute of Human Rights and Development in Africa. Is a NGO, non-governmental organization based in Banjul, the Gambia. And also one of the main work that we have done through this fellowship was to build cases against not only member states, against states or against organizations that violated human rights in Africa in general. So sometimes some of the cases that I work on it are filled with the African Court of Justice, African Court of Human Rights, People and Human Rights, sometimes Commission on Human Rights, and sometimes some of the cases with the ECOWAS. ECOWAS is a economical of West African Court of Justice. So sometimes some of the cases we went to the ECOWAS Court of Justice. Even if I'm coming from Central Africa, I had that privilege to work with West African or West countries, Western region of Africa. Beside that, I'm a teaching assistant and lecturer at the University of Quebec at Montreal, where I had the chance to taught international law in Montreal. I think last week, during the winter 2022. And it was a wonderful experience because I had a lot of students from all over the world, from Canada to France, France to Africa. So I will not tell you the countries, but the region. So they were coming all over the world. It was a wonderful experience because we learned from each other and also to know how the national systems is working from one country to another one or from one region to another one. So you know that American regions has its own law system. The same thing apply to African because you have the African Union. You have in America that inter-American organization, but Canada is not part of it. So you may see how things are moving across, the Mexico countries and Latino, all those Latino Americans countries, but US and Canada are not part of it. So how to deal with the human rights in these regions and how those countries that are so powerful are not part of this organization, and then the human rights violation is quite big or huge. Then that's in general my 13 years cumulative experience in practice of law. But then maybe you may ask yourself a question, that does he hold a law degree or whatever? So yes, I do. I don't want to be like doing monologue or just a dialogue between me and Larissa. So feel free, you can stop me anytime. I hold a bachelor and master in law from the University of Morocco. So I had a chance to move from the southern region of Morocco to the northern region of Morocco. So my bachelor was in Marrakesh, which is the south part of Morocco, 3 years in Marrakesh, doing international law. And then I moved to Tangier, that is not part, close to, yes, Professor. Larissa, can you give a floor?
Yeah,
or should
please feel free to.
Please. Yes, Professor. You ready?
Damsu, I didn't want to interrupt you just about your studies, your studies. It's really interesting, and so first of all, congratulations for your route until now and your contribution too. That's most important. I just want to retain one aspect you said, the fact that you had experience in some way interdisciplinary. So you needed to become comfortable in different areas or parallel areas, right? So that's really important. And would like to underline that point because nowadays, for a jurist, is fundamental. Don't work like, okay, I'm a mechanic. I just decide about the law or under the law. That's not the jurist we need. The jurist must have a preparation 360 degree, I used to say, and try to be flexible, able to talk to people who don't know law, not necessarily. So think, for example, the need to serve NGOs in the field. Who is in the field is experiencing directly the violation of human rights because of modification of a land, but they don't necessarily know how to have access to justice. So we need to be able to explain in a clear way how to do it and how to be their support in the field. So, and this is the role of a jurist, but this is also the role of an academic, in my view. In fact, if I can, I would like to share that my experience is also not just inside the academia. My colleagues used to call me a professor in the field. So I don't like to stay in an office, you know. I try to move as much as I can outside. So, but this is really important to underline. So I congratulate also for this, Damsu, to have that
Thank
kind
you.
of multidisciplinary background, because we need it more and more. So thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much, Professor. And I thought I would even participate to another program that is in international justice and crime. That was a joint program with the United Nations Research Institute for International Crime and Justice, and also the University of Torino. Turin in English, but Torino, the way Italians are calling it. So you may see, as the professor mentioned, working from different, from different areas, like being interdisciplinary, is something good, but it's really challenging. And today, being in the, within the unit that is dealing like a corporate service division, even as a lawyer, sometimes you have to know project management, you have to know program management, you have to know how is finance, how is a project management cycle, to understand how the project is being established and to be implemented. So like from the concept level to the closure or to the completion of any project. So the cycle project is something really important for anyone that wants to work with the program, or maybe with the environmental law or environmental program. So you may be maybe interested to join any program, but the problem is, like, when they say program, it's not only that you'll be sitting on your field and provide your support, but sometimes to be flexible, to learn, and also to participate on other field. Like sometimes you can have figures in your project or in your legal documents. So you need to understand, is it related to what, which kind of annexes, which kind of, what's this budget is related to any of the, the clause that is in your legal instruments, how the partner are supposed to, to handle those obligations, or to commit to these obligations. So those are the things I think they are really important, and you need to bear in mind that being a legal officer or being a jurist is something good, but in the coming days, or maybe in the future, we're not just trying to provide legal support, but legal support in the wider way. So like being flexible to work with any field that is related to legal. So I will stop there, and maybe
Damsa, I was going to come in with a question, because I mean, hearing your journey and hearing, the amount of transitions that you made along the way in your career journey. I think sometimes, especially when we finished, university, sometimes when we finish our first degree, we have this idea that our career is going to be linear. Yeah, that we go down one path, and when we're going down this one path and we get speed bumps along the way, or it starts to become a fork in the road, it becomes, really overwhelming sometimes. And especially being an early career professional, when you're trying to make that choice, how do we transition from one thing to another? How do we move into the next stage of our career? So I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've had the experience to transition into so many different facets of environmental protection. We're not even talking just about the law, but you spoke about also the finance side of it. You spoke also about the crime and protection side of it. So when you made those decisions to transition, were they active transitions in your career, or was it something that this was really an interesting opportunity? Let me try something that's a little bit different, a little bit outside of the box.
Okay. Let's say I'm a risk taker. That's one thing. First of all, I'm a risk taker, and I'm also someone curious. I want to learn. I really like to learn. And one of the things, the third thing, I'm a flexible person. I can adapt or adjust myself wherever I go. So, but international was my goal, my main goal, because when I was at the high school, before having my high school degree or diploma, like people say, like in French we say baccalaureate. So I was telling myself that one day I will work in the international area, either being a diplomat or being following Kofi Annan path. Kofi Annan was one of my model. So I want to end up in the United Nations and be like Kofi Annan. Even if I can't be Kofi Annan, but be like. So I was trying myself to just, make my way to that place. And then I force myself, wherever I go, I never study in English. I try my best to just improve my English from wherever. And I travel maybe around countries and around places just to learn. And then one day, I was lucky to join African Union because I keep applying from AU to UN, UN to AU, and then I was interviewed, and then I got the first job at the international in the international system. So I joined the African Union, and then I said, okay, that's a good thing. How I can contribute now to the international area, in the international area or in the international law field. And that's where my my journey started. And I think from this experience, I learned that you may not just sit on the international law. So you can anytime transition from international to political affairs, from political affairs to civil affairs, from civil affairs to human rights, anytime. But they are all linked. We are just educated to know how to manage or to navigate through life. We are not educated to sit on our field. So that's my way to think about or to transitioning from one experience to another one, or to one path to one field to another one. But they are interconnected. Legally speaking, they are interconnected. So wherever I go, there is international law, or there is international relations, or maybe you may find something that's linked. So for me, yes, they are cross-cutting experience, but they are all interlinked.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Professor Elia.
I know that you are considering to get me out from the program right now, right?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm enjoying having this chat. I really wish that we would have this chat with more people. I'm enjoying having this chat with the two of you. So
I don't want to absolutely to grasp the
no, please, not at all.
but I'm really impressed by the experience of Damsu, and it is also a source of inspiration to connect to my experience and to share what has been my experience too, and also what it should be behind our. So I use your last words, Damsu, if I can, to globalize the intent, to extend the intent of our mission, because it's the point. It's not about what we would like to be in the future, but what kind of mission would like to serve in the future, starting from our local, then national, regional, and global. So it's a matter of passion, engagement. Doesn't matter the seat of the office. I'm talking to you from my kitchen at home right now, for example. It's always a matter of level of engagement. And I'm really happy that you mentioned your source of inspiration, because me too, I have one historically since I was 4 years old, 4.5 actually. Practically nobody knows him, and sometimes neither my compatriot, I guess. My source of inspiration is former Italian President Sandro Pertini. So I try to transport his thesis of master thesis. Today we call that master thesis, but at that time it was not a master thesis properly said, because I think that he has been for Italy the unique president came in from the resistance to dictatorship, the president of the republic, and his attitude was to fight against injustice everywhere. It doesn't matter, supporting people everywhere. So, and his thesis was about cooperation. And of course, his thesis was about cooperation inside the Italian structure after the Second World War. But if you make an effort, you can transport the idea to international relationship. That's really, it's absolutely one of my first source of inspiration, until the point that my choice of studies dependent from what he did. For example, I'm a PhD in law, but I'm also LLM in political sciences at the same time, because you can have, the idea he had is that you can have the best law, the best possible law, but if you don't have a group of public policies implementing such law, you will never have an effective law. So this is my journey. So, and this is also a suggestion to fix a source of inspiration, to be under discussion always. I have a lot of anecdotes. For example, Damaso, if I rightly understand, you say that you worked in French, right? In the majority of cases. To me, has been the same.
I'm a francophone. Yeah.
To me has been the same for other reason, of course, because at my home, English was strictly forbidden when I was young. So at the school, I studied French. When I arrived to Geneva for my first fellowship so many years ago at the High Commissioner for Human Rights, I was fluently in French, in Spanish and Portuguese, but totally all ignorant in English. Totally ignorant. And I say to myself, oh my God, I can stay here. My supervisory from Japan, he just speaks English. And with the help of my supervisor, I learned English. So be always under discussion. This is other element to improve constantly ourselves to deserve the best to people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Professor Elia, for your contribution. Yes, Gia.
Just a thing, I think I was just wondering that we Indians only has this thing like, oh, English, and we have to learn this language, and this would be a status. I think now I'm just getting that it is everywhere, and the grass is greener every place. Like everybody is trying to learn this language, for no matter whether it is actually a part of a life, or it's just a journey, part of journey of the life. It just, I was just thinking that we Indians only struggles with this sometime, but I'm just having a similar kind of thing for others also. But I think when I speak about myself, I also had my primary education in Gujarati, which is one of the regional language of India. And then for the higher studies, I had to switch to this language. I had to learn. And eventually, it just happened like I think teachers are more on speaking more tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think this is always, you put it perfectly. The grass is always greener on the other side, yeah? So we sometimes think that especially other people are having it better, or other people are having it different to us. But having platforms like this, we start to see the commonalities between all of us, yeah? No matter which part of the world we're in, no matter what our experience may be, no matter what level in our professional career we're in, we always have similar experiences, similar stories to share. So I see a lot of people have had to leave us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor to anyone. If you have any questions, or if you have anything that you would like to ask us about the mentorship program, broadly speaking, anything that you want to know, if you have any questions about what we've spoken about today or any comments that you would like to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and you can go ahead and ask straight away.
Yes, that's a good thing. You proceed, Larissa, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm just waiting for anyone if they have any questions or anything that they would like to ask or anything that they want to find out. Just giving everyone time to maybe formulate some of their questions if they have any. In the meantime, I'd like to give a huge thank you to Mr. Damsalkinde for taking the time to be with us today, to share his experiences with us. His really colorful and multidisciplined career journey has given some inspiration to a lot of us along the way. I know me personally, I've heard of Damsal's career journey before, and I'm still impressed every time I hear of it. And I'm still inspired by the many routes that he's taken and the many transitions that he's had in his career journey. I think there is a lot that we can learn from his experiences, his bravery, his flexibility, and his willingness to learn new things and to share with us all here today. I'm sure I don't speak lightly when I say this. We really do appreciate having mentors like you in the mentorship program. And we appreciate you taking the time to just be with us today and have this chat with us amidst your busy schedule. So yeah, just a huge thank you to you. So once again, I would like to open up to anyone if you have any questions, anything you want to add. If you just want to say hi, that's also a possibility. Now is your chance.
Please don't feel shy. Go ahead.
Exactly, don't feel shy.
There is an interaction section. Even if it's in French, you can take your question in French or your intervention in French.
Yeah.
We'll handle it with the together.
If you have a question in another language, we can find a way. I'm pretty sure with all of us here together, we can find a way.
If I can, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Hi, Francesca. Hi.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thank you for the conversation so far. I wanted to ask Dams something about what you gained from the mentorship, because this was the initial question, and I feel that we need to explore it a little bit more. As a mentor, what you gained. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francesca, for your question. I think you come from Italy. Buonasera. So yes, yes. I was lucky. I was lucky to have a mentor, I think last year. And I think what I have learned is not that you come to the mentorship or to anything like coaching session to gain, like, to have everything from your coach or from your mentor. You come to the mentorship program to share what you have, like a fairness, or maybe what you want to learn or what to be advised. So it's not like a lecturing. That's what I was telling to Larissa. You are not here to lecturing you guys. You are here to listen and to share and try to find our ways. We are all trying to get a ways from where we are. It's not like a one-way discussion, or is a one-way program. So it's like a two ways. We are learning from you, and we are trying to give you what we know or what we have as an experience, modest or little experience. So for me, it's like what I learned from other people, or from other people that are coaches or maybe friends or mentors, is like always being open. Always be open. Don't be shy. Like we learn, always learn, because sometimes things can be difficult, but it's normal. That's a process. We can come to any organization that we don't know anything about it, but the best thing is to be how you say it, like be ready to learn and try to know the organization, to understand the organization. From the law perspective, we are all lawyers maybe here, some of us maybe are not, but what we usually say as a lawyer, the best way is to know the procedure. If you know the procedures, then you will know how to handle any kind of issue. That's for me, as a mentor or as a mentee, you come to the mentorship not just to learn from the mentor, but to tell the mentor, that's what I want to know. How can I try? How can I give myself? How can I try to navigate through my career's path? So we'll tell you, those are the tips. Those are the gaps. Those are the barriers. Those are the difficulties that or obstacles that you may meet on your journey, but don't give up. It will be difficult, but it's not the end of the world. For me, it's like this. Every time they tell me that's the way to do it. But it's up to you to decide. Is it the best way? Choose. If it's not the best way, then try another way, but don't give up. I don't know if I responded, but that's my way to see things on the mentorship program. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question, Francesca, and thank you, Damsa, for your answer. Gia, over to you.
I just want to know that like now onwards, we would be having an individual and one-to-one meeting with our mentees, right? So do we have to update on the IUCN, like email you about the minutes of the meeting or any way to just keep you in loop that what we discussed with our mentee, and is there some kind of setup is there, or it just between mentor and mentees?
So it's usually between mentor and mentee, just to keep it confidential, because obviously we don't expect, there's some things that you will discuss with your mentor and that, you wish to keep between the two of you. We are here as the mentorship program team to help you facilitate that mentor dynamic. If you have any questions about, for example, you are not too sure how to bring up a topic with your mentor, or if you are having a discussion with your mentor and there's something that, maybe your mentor cannot help you with and you want us to help you find another mentor who can maybe help you with another element of your career journey or whatever else you're looking for mentoring in. So that's why we're here. We're here more as an administrative and a facilitatory role. That being said, halfway through the year, so in about July this year, we will be sending out a mentorship survey to all of the mentors and the mentees involved in the program, just to get a kind of feel from everyone how the progress is going, what areas they can improve in, what maybe events we're looking to have in the second half of the year. How can mentors be reallocated? Do people wish to have their mentors reallocated? So that general information we'll find out from the survey later on. Additionally, I will be trying my absolute best to send follow-up emails to the mentor pairings every 1 or 2 months, just to kind of have a check-in. Hi, how's everything going? So if you see an email from the mentorship program team, or if you see an email from me, don't be scared. I'm just checking how everything is going. I'm trying to see if you need us. And if you don't need us, then you can say, hey, Larissa, everything's going great. We don't need you. We're doing A-okay, and we leave you to it. So that's why we're here. We're just here to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible, and that, whatever support you need within the program, we can provide that to you.
So Larissa, a question, just
Sure.
how to proceed from now. Because
Yes.
as I said, I have been waiting such meeting to just before to send an email to my two mentees. So as from now, I can contact them and try to organize between us to have meetings, and so on, right?
Exactly. So I
I
know
don't
some
need
people
to wait for your email. I mean,
not at all. I know some people have already started with their mentor and mentee initial contact meetings. Perfect. For those of you that have waited for after this meeting, please feel free to proceed if you want. And this is what I'm going to say as well. You have two options in this situation. You can proceed on your own, in which you contact your mentor or your mentee directly and you say, hi, really nice to meet you. Let's facilitate our first initial meeting. Or you can contact us as well and say that you would like to have a first initial facilitated meeting with one of the team members there, so we can help you with your first mentor meeting. It's completely up to you. Additionally, if you would like to contact your mentee, you can do that we ask that in the first email, so that we know that you've contacted them, that you CC the mentorship program team, so that we just know that you've already sent out the meeting, just to say that the initial contact has been made, and then we know that that's done, and afterwards you can head off in your direction, I suppose.
Okay, no, I guess that. Thank you for your offer. I do appreciate the fact that you want to, you are able to mediate in the first meeting as a sort of inductment. Yeah. But I think that in order to build trust, I do really prefer to be directly, to work directly with them first.
Yeah.
Then,
exactly.
Of course, if I have trouble to be in contact, of course, I will return to you. But I do really prefer to be directly in contact with them.
Yeah, fantastic. And that works perfectly. There are some mentors and mentees who have also agreed that they would prefer a direct meeting. Absolutely fine. For those of you that would like us there for the first meeting, you just let us know. We're here to help in whatever way we can. So I'd also like to open up the floor again. We have the last 15 or so minutes of our discussion. If anyone else has any other questions, yes, hello, I see a hand. Kinchit.
Yeah, hello, how are you doing?
Very well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Actually, I was also thinking that, well, I am just a master's student and my specialization is in environmental law. And I have been also a human rights consultant, but I think it would be great if sometimes just we also mentors can have a panel discussion, something like that, because I feel like I have a lot to learn from the other mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So I am really eager to also learn from them. So if there is opportunities like that, it would be great to have a day meeting, or if because here is a huge barrier of the time zone. So if we who are Europe based, if we can also have one meeting, and who are based in Asia and Africa, if they have some other, then it would be, I think it will be comfortable for everyone. It's just a small suggestion.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, we really appreciate that. I will definitely put that in one of our events. We can plan a mentor panel discussion. We can even plan a few other events. If anybody has any event suggestions that they would like, or any topics that they would like to see covered in each of these meetings that we have, please feel free to email me. Please feel free to reach out, and we can find a way to facilitate these into the program. What we
Can
have
I add here?
Yes, of course, please.
Yeah, I was thinking that when after a while, after when we have meeting with our mentees, what are the most common question come up? And if we just send you all the questions, and if we can see what's the most burning question, if we can have a discussion on that. Fantastic. Environmental issues and what are actually really people want to know, that type of things, basically.
Yeah, that would be great. Please, when you are having your meetings, if there's common questions that come up all the time, please feel free to pass them our way, and we can have those as selected theme discussions. So these discussions also, I mean, this is the first inaugural meeting, so it is recorded and shared, a little bit more formally, so to say. So we can also have a little bit more informal discussions, just regular mentoring checkups, where all of us can meet that are available, where we can just have discussions on maybe challenges that we're facing, or have a group mentoring session where all of us have the opportunity to just come together and discuss some things if we see the need. So yeah, that would be great. Is there any other questions or anything else that anyone would like to find out, or?
I don't know.
Sorry, Francesca, you go ahead.
Francesca,
sorry,
want to talk maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I lost the connection for a few seconds. That's why I was not able to understand.
Francesca, maybe you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want.
We're losing you. We are losing you. Maybe the connection issue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, but the signal keeps disappearing. So while we have you.
Okay, sorry. So I will be very quick. So I just wanted to say that I like very much this proposal of having a moment of reflection for the mentors, just to check whether everything is going fine and we are having common challenges or issues, or so I would make it something like periodical, like regular meetings, maybe already in the next month.
Definitely,
So
that sounds like something we could do. Can I hear from the mentors, just by a show of hands? A monthly meeting would be appreciated, yes? And if you would like to attend that meeting, so we'll plan the monthly meeting, and if you need to attend that monthly meeting, then you attend. If you don't, then you don't attend. But I can do a monthly jour fix just for the mentors, so that you can go through any
I think it would be useful to share experience on the way between mentors. So thank you, Larissa. It's a good proposal.
Yeah, great to share knowledge, and also some questions we don't know, maybe 100%. So if we can gain the knowledge from others where we have like a bit doubt or something.
Sounds great.
So I also prefer that a monthly one meeting will be very great.
I also support the same. Yeah.
I'll do one for the mentors and also for the mentees, just to provide the same opportunity, because I know maybe the mentees would also have or would also appreciate such a space. So I will do that in my personal capacity. I will set up a mentoring jour fix for the mentors and one for the mentees, and I will share all of that information with everyone by the end of next week. And I will plan for the jour fixes to happen at the end of each month. So we've had one now, it's the end of February. The next one we can plan for the end of March. So that's just so everyone knows roughly.
Maybe first week of April, because end of March is
Easter.
Religious. Yeah, is
Yes.
Easter.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, we can do that. First week of April also works. Not a problem. Okay, fantastic. Is there any other questions, any other suggestions? Again, I say, if we don't cover anything today, if you have any other questions, if something pops up later that you do want to discuss, please feel free to reach out. I'm always available. You can reach us through the mentorship program Gmail specifically, or you can email me personally. I'll put both of those email addresses in the chat so that you can access us. So I believe that is if I can do this, this would be great. Fantastic. There we go. So if you have any questions, please feel free. This is the mentorship program Gmail account, and here is my personal Gmail account.
Larissa, if you allow me. Yes. I would like just to add something before we maybe close. I don't know, maybe people would like to continue because we are almost at Nairobi. It is 9:23, depending on where we are. So for me, I think there is one thing that Professor Elias said. You know, anything is linked to the passion. You know, passion is something good, but also you need to set a target. What's your target? What's your main objective or your main goal when you're coming to the, to the mentorship program? Why, when you want to build your career path? So some people maybe it will start with a bachelor degree, some of them with a master degree, some of them maybe at a school. It depends on when you start, or you will be comfortable to set your own goal based on where you want to see yourself in 5, 10, or 20 years. Okay. I don't know if, as I mentioned early, mine started maybe at high school, end of high school, but some people maybe are before, like Professor Elia said, when she was 4. So depend on people, but the problem is like, what's retain your attention? What do you want to do in terms of protection of environment? What's your target in terms of like protection of or to fight climate change? Right now, we are talking about climate change with the triple crisis: pollutions, climate change, and another one that I forgot it. So if there is any leitmotif that is, or any motivation behind your objective, then sometimes you can lose your way. So do you just want to work on the international area, or do you want to work in the international area because you want to contribute to something? What do you want to bring?
It's a matter of goal. It's a matter of aim.
Yeah. Yes. What do you want to bring? What do you want to achieve? Okay, because when I was doing my research, like while I was conducting like my bachelor project, I think my work was on the sustainable development, and then I was going through through my research. I got some books that I was reading, and then one of them was Wangari Maathai. She's a Kenyan. I never knew that one day I will be working in this forest. Karura Forest is one of our legacy. Something that captured always my attention during my research was, and also elevate my reflection was, she was saying, let me read the quote: "We own it to ourselves and to the next generations to conserve the environment so that we can bequeath our children a sustainable world that benefits all." So that's the contribution. What do you want to leave to your children? What do you want to leave to the world? That's something that can motivate someone. That's something that motivates me to work on the sustainable development, but also today to tackle climate changes, or maybe to work on the protection of the environment. So it depends on anyone, but you need to find your leitmotif, your motivation that can give you some strength to move from one place to another, or to one career to another place. So, so above all those, cross-cutting experience, after all, I'm an international lawyer. That's what I'm saying myself. I'm not just like a human rights lawyer, or I'm not like a political science someone, or international relations. No, just an international lawyer. So you're open to anything. You're open to contribute to anything that can be possible to change the world, or to provide, or to bring something as a modest contribution to the world. Anytime you can find your way in the field, like for peacekeeping, so try to bring something that is quite dear to your heart, and to change, not to change the world today, but maybe to contribute to the change of the world. So that's something that I want really for the mentees and the mentors to maybe to share during maybe those experiences, because it's not only about like saying that you have to do A, B, C, or to go through A, B, C to succeed. No, it's not about success only. It's about what are you gonna to bring? What are you gonna to contribute to the change? Because today we are talking about tomorrow. They say, I think during this year, they say that in 2023 was the hottest period all over the world during lifetime. So we are having a problem of climate change. We are having the environmental issues. So how are you going to tackle this? So these are the
Yeah, I hate to cut you short. I'm so sorry to cut you short. I just want to get all of the comments in before we end for today. But thank you so much for your comments, and thank you so much for your input. I'm going to say something that slightly contradicts what you've said, and I hope I can say it with all of the joy and respect that I can give you as my colleague as well. But I do have to say, especially being someone in the profession myself, having just completed my doctorate as well, I did not have goals. And that sounds really scary to say, but I had no idea where I was going and how I got to where I am now. What mattered to me was the direction that I was going in. So it wasn't, at the end, I had no idea what the end posts looked like or what the goals were at the end, but I knew how I wanted to get there, what my aim was, what the target was, where I was going. And sometimes for other people, for some, the goals work. And I'm really commend those people where the goals work, because if you are one of those people, please share with me your wisdom. But it never worked for me because I never knew what I wanted to do in the end. So as someone who's coming maybe with an opposite perspective to this, and if this is something that maybe you also feel and something that you've experienced along the way, I've always found it's about the journey, not necessarily the destination. That old fable that we hear so often. So yeah, I'm going to hand over to Professor Elia and then to Francesca as we close off. I know we're probably going to run a few minutes over, but bear with us.
Thank you, Larissa. But maybe we lost Francesca just because she has.
It seems so.
It seems she has problems with the connection. So if she's joined back. Francesca, please take the microphone because I see that you have some troubles with the connection. So before you lose definitively the connection, please have the microphone too before I can wait.
I was following Larissa and then I just lost the connection again and I'm back. I just want to say that I was actually jumping in the conversation to question this idea of having ideals. And I myself, I had and I think I still have strong ideals, but I recognize through supervising people and basically talking with people, that this is not applicable to everyone. We don't need all ideals to, but I'm also open to discuss about this because I'm also learning to be careful with this because some people think that they are excluded from academia because they need to have ideals. But then you realize that there are very skillful people and successful who are a little bit more pragmatic, maybe, I don't know, let's say, or not so idealistic. So I don't want to judge anymore. So I reached this point that I don't want to judge anymore. And as a mentor, I'm also asking whether it's good to show or to say, to convey the message that you need ideals to pursue your career, and I think not. Maybe it's just it's important to say that this is just one approach. One person may need ideals, others not so much. So I'm really in this process now that I'm thinking that it's important to establish a difference, not to impose or to send this message. So, but yeah, this was my
Thank you very much, Francesca, for this comment. And I just want also to thank you, Larissa, to specify what I tried to already say about the aim, not the goal. Of course, Francesca, I totally in the opposite way, because academia is losing in certain countries, only in certain countries. I don't know what is your experience. I have the chance to have globally experience. I have been visiting professor in China, in Mexico, in the United States, in many countries, in South Korea, in Japan, in the past. And what is going to, we need to revival ideas because we must impact the world. We cannot impact the world without values. When I have been obliged, I can make a lot of examples, but let me give a reference to 2020. When the pandemic exploded, I was in Mexico. So I have been obliged to leave my students before the time because it was March 2020. So I moved back to Spain. And then I have been connected, of course, with 7 hours difference time zone from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. teaching online to my students. But before to move, I remember I send them a message saying that distance is not measured in kilometers, but in values we shared. So the more values we shared, the more the less the distance we have between us, the distance between us will be less than, and we are assisting nowadays into the fact that we are returning into international arena to the deep diplomatic convenience instead of friendship of nations. We already created friendship between nations because of values. That's why international legal order is failing its promises. And it's up to us as educators, not just the people who form new generation. We need to educate, especially young people who in the generation of digital digital technologies didn't know how do I can say that they can miss at certain point what they want to be for the world. They are not individual. So in my idea, of course, I don't share your idea, but as President Pertini quoted in the discourse of 1983 at the end of the year, say, I fight your idea, but be sure that I will lost my life to defend your idea. So we need to call upon young people that we need to restore the aim after the Second World War. We missed at that point. And the academia, we are privileged in doing so. I like Larissa when she said that after the PhD, she has no idea. But I had a name, always a name, curiosity, improve myself. Many people told me 27 years ago that I couldn't never be a director of soccer. I became 27 years ago the first young lady director of soccer in the south of Italy. A scandal. But I never believed that I was strange. To me, it was normal. I love that. So nowadays in Italy, we are assisting to a female director of soccer. 27 years ago, I was the first. But I never said, hey, I do it. No, it was my aim to be equal, to serve as an example in some way and say, me too can do it. When I ended my PhD thesis 12 years before the national statistics, for example, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the chance to have a mentor, Larissa, and I'm going to conclude. And what I did, I sent all documents to the Spanish National Agency for Academia to be evaluated. They didn't know me. I needed an objective evaluation. And they said, okay, you did a lot of things. It's impressive, but you need to do that. And I moved to Spain finally. So that's, but behind me, and I try to do the best with my students to improve their aim, because every one of us has an aim. No, I cannot believe that humanity has no humanity inside. It's not humanity inside. So try to get out the aim and then the goal. Thank you very much, Larissa.
Thank you, Professor Elia, and thank you everyone for all of your comments.
Larissa, before you close.
Yeah, sure. I really have to close, but I will give 2 minutes each. That's all I can give.
Short. I'll make it short.
Okay, please, Damsa.
So maybe
And I'm also
Larissa,
you just to keep this meeting open-ended of one thing that just come in my mind to share.
Okay,
Sure.
before
Damsa.
just to add something to Professor Elia, you know, when I was starting the thesis, the main question they will ask you, what are you going to do with your thesis? If you don't know what you are going to do with your thesis, then it's a loss. It's like a waste of time. Don't do the thesis or don't do your doctorate. because at the end, you'll be like nowhere and trying to find your way. So always they'll ask you that question. I don't know, depend on countries, but where I was doing my PhD, the question is like, what are you going to do with your PhD at the end of the day? So just to tell you that, Larissa, for me, I agree with you 100% on the, on the journey, and then it's not the destination that matters. The journey is important. But at the end of the day, you have to just, for me, to fix a target, like at least an objective, just to help you to, to grow, try to reach that level. Because
yeah, I understand. To me, has been different because to me, as a young lady from the South, no access to higher education, so easy. The
Yes.
aim was to study, so I just find confidence in myself in saying why I cannot do a PhD because I'm from the South, because I'm too young. I can do it and I won. That's the aim, not the goal. It's a matter of wish. No, it's I think it's a matter of to see the same thing from another perspective. In every case, in order to leave, I put my WhatsApp number and my contacts in the chat. So I always happy to continue conversation.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, Francesca and Gia. Francesca, do you still have something that you would like to add?
Yeah, very, very quickly. I just want to say that, okay, I got the point. So I also share the need for ideas. I think I learned to be more cautious, but okay, based on your powerful presentation and your ideas, I'm going back a little bit to my own perspective. And I have just a curiosity. I wanted to know how many mentors have been selected for the launch of the mentorship program. I had this curiosity.
There are currently, I don't have the number with me directly, but it is between 32 to 35 mentors.
So we are just a small part of all the people that here today.
Because we have this first meeting today, and then we have another meeting tomorrow for the a different time zone. And there's also some mentors that wouldn't have been able to attend today for other lecturing commitments and other reasons. So
well, I don't promise because I have actually registered for both. I don't promise that I can be able to be connected also at 6 a.m. just because I did it during 4 years.
Yeah.
The pandemic. So just because of that. But in case, I just advising you, don't fear if you find me tomorrow morning early.
Absolutely fine. So I will be there early tomorrow morning. That is my hat as the mentorship program project lead. And yeah, so for those of you,
just let me say to Francesca that I will be possibly I will be in Italy next March, so next month. I guess around the end of March, because I have a meeting in Rome. So I don't know where she's based, but I will be very happy.
Antoinette, I will send you a WhatsApp. So we leave Larissa and we will talk later.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Professor Elia. Gia, you have one last thing that you wanted to add.
I'll just have one line to say that just one of mentor I think have shared this idea about the panel discussion. So I think currently this Belgium has considered ecocide as an international crime. So, and its addition into the Rome Statute and ICC. So it's just a suggestion if we can have a panel discussion over this topic in near future, if it is convenient to all of you.
I think with those type of discussions, I would rather approach the World Commission of Environmental Law directly. We can definitely do it through us. So I can also set up a meeting maybe with Professor Christina Voigt, or with the Climate Change Subcommittee with Francesca Sindico as well. So we can also reach out to them and have those type of meetings on the content and substance in collaboration with them. Because then the mentorship program can be solely, for example, for the mentorship program and the mentorship related issues and concerns. But that would be a great suggestion. So if anybody has suggestions for those type of events as well, please feel free to reach out, because we can always bring it into the steering committee meetings and have those ideas brought forward there. So, yeah, that would be.
Yeah, thank you, Dimsu, and thank you, Larissa, for this wonderful gathering, and wishing you all a wonderful day, night, whatsoever is according to the time zone. Goodbye and namaste.
Goodbye.
Thank you
for
everyone
your
for joining.
questions.
It's been really great having conversations with each of you. Have a wonderful
See you.
evening, a wonderful day, and hope to
You
see you
too.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.